Good morning and happy Friday. Today is the day that Venus rules, and Venus is currently in Pisces. What a really fascinating experience I'm having. I am feeling like I am on the ground floor because I'm in Los Angeles. And I feel very much like I am at ground zero of the transformation that is happening in the world right now. And being in Los Angeles has been, let me tell y'all, I love Los Angeles. I love this city. I love it. We have oceans, we have mountains, we have forest, we have city, we have restaurants, we have everything. It's a big sprawling city. And I was born here. My family is originally from Lake Charles, Louisiana. And so they came from Lake Charles to Los Angeles. And my parents were born here. My father was born in San Diego, and my mother was born here in Los Angeles. I love this place. I love this place. This is my home. In this earth body. This is not my cosmic home. I am from another dimension, another place, but this is my cosmic home. This is my earth place. And here's what they always say. However California goes, everyone else goes. We are like the third largest economy in the world in California. We run this country. Whether, the politicians might think that they do, but California runs the country. We set all the rules. We are, California is you can find everything here. And it's a very, and that includes entertainment, so music and film and theater and all of that. Not like New York, because I've spent a lot of time in New York. But New York is nothing is like Los Angeles and California. Nothing. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So the thing that I really want to talk about is the astrology. And because the world is really changing, and it's changing particularly in this Western world, this Western American United States in this way, because we have been so in an illusion. We have been deeply entrapped in belief systems that are false, that are illusions. And it's been interesting in my own experience to have been able to, I could always see the illusion. But because other people couldn't see it, over time I started to doubt myself. It's heartbreaking. Over time, I started to believe that, well, maybe the things that other people see are real, because I don't get it. I never got Christianity. I never got this political stuff. I never got, the way we do race. And I just never got any of it. It all felt like a false reality to me. And the thing that I'm seeing with these fires is that the United States is a monopoly game. Everything here is for sale, you all. So one of the things that's happening in these fires, there's no water. Why? Because somebody else owns all the water. How could that be? But it is, because the United States is a monopoly game and everything is for sale. So what turns out is that there is what they're calling a couple. They own a lot of, because California has a lot of farming land. That's the thing about there's so much farm, which is why I can shop exclusively at farmers markets, because there's so many farmers here. So the farmers here provide food for the world. So almonds, I used to have an almond milk company, and all the almonds for most of the world are grown here in California, and that needs water. It needs water. All these farms need water. So owning the water is particular to feeding the state and feeding the country and feeding the world, but it's all business. It's not for like because food is nurturing. It's because of business. It's because of they are making money. They are doing it for profit, and so they're not thinking about the ecology of the landscape. They're not thinking about those kind of things because they're just making money. It's all capitalism. It's all a money grab. That's it. That's it. On the backs of people's health. So, there is what's happening with the food and the water, and then that translates into the pharmaceutical companies. I remember when I used to watch TV and pharmaceutical commercials became normal. Like there were almost no more commercials. Everything was like, is your back hurting? And do you have restless leg syndrome? And you should call your doctor. Because all of that is capitalism. All of it is a programming, creating an illusion in our minds that we're not safe, that we need external support for medical stuff, that we can't heal ourselves, that we go into grocery stores and shop so we don't know what foods are really in what foods are in season because we're eating. The grocery store has everything in season because they're growing it in Mexico. I mean, there's so much happening in the world that has created the experiences that we're having now because our ecological balance is off. And the thing that I understand as an astrologer right now, because Pluto has gone into Aquarius, is that it is time for us to all live into our individual code. We can no longer rely on this collective sameness in the ways that we have, So like these companies that are growing pistachios for the whole world in the backyards of Californians, that it's just not affordable. It won't be able to work any longer, right? And so the systems are starting to break down, and they are going to break down. But in the meantime, you will need to find resources for you to get the things that you need, desire, and require for your existence. Now, the thing that I have discovered is that when I follow the natural cycles of the universe, when I align myself internally, the external comes into alignment with me. That's why, so for instance, when I was a child, I grew up in Watts. It was a war zone. Okay. I grew up in Watts. Like all of a sudden now I'm like, oh, I get why I grew up the way I grew up. When I grew up in Watts, it was a war zone, gang violence, like it was all just getting started. And the way to protect yourself was to be in alignment. You have to walk in the spirit realm. You have to know, you have to do your rituals, your practices. You have to create your force field. You have to create your mental reality in your mind before you move into the external experience. You have to feel it. You have to know it. You have to be in alignment with it. And then you open up the door of your consciousness into the world that is yours, that is a reflection of you. Now, people don't understand that that's what this reality really is. Am I making sense? People don't understand that that's what this reality really is. It's really a blank page for your own power to be revealed. But most of our power is being drained by external things like voting, because you vote and we're going to make sure you get the health insurance, and we're going to make sure you have healthy food, and they don't do any of that. It does absolutely none of that. And you do it with the intention and mindset that those needs are being met, and they're not. So you plug into a system that is faulty, and you are in your consciousness draining your energy, which then makes your system faulty. So you've got to align yourself with your own codes. And I discovered my codes through my natal chart. So I know how I'm meant to function. And when we're trying to function collectively, meaning based on the external reality, we got to understand what this reality really is. The external is the end. It's the completion. It's over in the external. So when we're trying to save external things, when we, as I'm watching the fires, I'm like, these people are losing things. I think 5 people died, but these people are losing things. Things can be replaced. Your body can't be replaced. I'm like, okay, your house burned down, but you still got breath. And I'm not saying that I don't have compassion for people's loss, but things are really not lost. I just want y'all to understand that things are really not lost. And the reason we believe that things are lost is because we are not anchored in a spiritual perspective that allows us to understand that the world is really inside of you. It's internal. It's in the invisible. And by the time it comes to the external, it's like for women, we know it as women. We build babies in our bodies. We build babies in our bodies. They come from inside of us. You don't have to feed that baby when that baby is inside of you, but it is growing, it is real, it is becoming a living thing. And then you push it out of your body into the world. But the force, the source that where it came from was inside of you. And most of us are so focused on the external that we are missing that the world is really inside of you. And the work and excavating and bringing forth what is within you requires that you must cultivate, condition your subconscious, your psyche, your internal creative realm to create the external experience. And at this time on the planet, while Pluto is in Aquarius, if you are not doing that, you will be a part of the collective calamity that is happening in this world. See, it's like when I was growing up in Watts, oh my God, it was amazing. There was gun violence. There was all manner of things. And what would happen, it was hard. Don't get me wrong. Let me fix my crown. Donna, I hope you start making these tiaras because we need these, Donna. I think you're here. We need these tiaras. Can you make one for me, please? Thank you. Okay. There were so many occasions where I was at a party or at somebody's house doing something, hanging out, and I would get and I would know it's time for me to get my stuff and leave. And I would leave. I wouldn't be as conscious of it as I am now because I can look back and see what happened. But in the moment, I would just be like, I gotta go. I would be in parties where, the person who's having the party sells crack. Okay? It was the crack age. The person who's having the party sells crack. He is one of my best friends. And everybody here, we're partying, we're hanging out, we're drinking beer, we're dancing, da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I gotta go home. And I go home. The next day, I find out that somebody shot up the place and, everybody went to jail. And I just left. I cannot tell you how many times that has happened to me in my experience, that has been my creation. There was a time I was, I had 5 uncles in my house and we lived in a war zone. So I had 5 uncles and they were warriors, and one weekend I was away at my aunt's house in Windsor Hills, came home to find out that somebody drove by my house and shot through my house. There was a bullet hole right directly where my head would have been had I been asleep in that bed. But I was not there. Why? Because I have this alignment. I have this internal north node that puts me out of danger in dangerous places. I used to date, and my father was a drug dealer and a pimp. Before I was 20 years old, every man I dated was a drug dealer. Every boy I dated was a drug dealer. And I was dating this guy. The joke was that he was a UPS driver, but we never saw the brown. We never saw the brown uniform. And we would all hang out. We would go bowling and playing pool and to restaurant. And he paid for everything, right? And the joke was, he's a UPS person. There were times I would be at his house. I would watch somebody come into his house with a bag of money. They would go in a room, come back. I don't know if the bag had money in it. I just would assume they would they would have a bag, a backpack, go into a room, come back out. Then the backpack will be empty. They would leave. And I was really starting to be into him. And my spirit told me, it's enough now. It's enough now. And I was like, okay. But I didn't know what was coming. I just could feel that it's enough now. Okay. Oh, the next week, everybody's hanging out over there. The police come. Everybody goes to jail for a long time. For a long time. Because like some law happening. And because I am aligned. So we're beginning to live in a world. It's not going to be this way forever because we're going through a deep purging right now. But I am aligned. And we all must get aligned so that we are in our lane. You've got to be in your lane. And your lane will take you to your own particular safety, to your own particular expansion, to your own particular peace, to your own... It's in your body. It's in your system. And when we go within, the world externally will unfold, will blossom in front of us. And I am so grateful. There was a time in my life when I was so at odds with how I grew up. And now I get it. Now I get it. I was so, because all my friends were middle class, because I was smart and I would go to school, I was testing and I would be in schools where, there were people who had a lot of money and I was living in a war zone. I'm going to school, taking tests and passing these tests, but they picked me up in a war zone to take me to school and it really impeded on my confidence. And I really felt insecure and I felt dirty and shit. I just felt all these things. And now I get it, y'all. Now I get it. There are no mistakes. There are no mistakes. Whatever you're resisting in your life is your greatest gift. Because now here I am in the city that I know is going to influence everything. And I love this city. I'm not leaving. I am not leaving. I will go on vacations, but I'm not leaving because this is it for me. I tried to leave. I want y'all to know I went to college in Washington, D.C., another war zone at the time that I was there. And my grandmother used to call me. My grandmother was a Capricorn. And she used to call me and she would go, Monique. Yes, Grandma. You be careful out there now. So it's just I'm just watching the news and everything is it's so violent out there. And I would be like, I don't know what she's talking about because everywhere I went, I was safe because I have a connection. So in order for you to live now, especially if you're in this city, but the world is changing. Everything is turning upside down. You must access your own code. Yes, Donna. I'm so happy you're not leaving. And can you please make some tiaras for us? Because this is a signal. The copper creates a connection in your brain that sends the signal inside of you to bring the reality out. It's a real thing. Like, there's a science behind this motherfucker. You know what I mean? And this is like my flower of life right on my third eye that projects the reality that I am creating inside of me. Yes, please put crystals on them. Thank you. I know you know. I'm letting everybody else know, Donna. So today is a Venus day. The moon is in Gemini. The sun is in Capricorn. And we are in the process of beginning to build our own realities. Now, I hope that we're not in the process of just beginning, because y'all, I've been doing this work a long time. And if you guys go find me on YouTube, or you will find that I have been here for years talking about this stuff, for years. And now it's here. And there is the part of me that sometimes my ego is like, I've been saying this. And I try my best never to say that, because I have an aspect of Gemini. I have a aspect, like a asteroid in Gemini, where I can't do that. I can't be braggy like that. It's not easy for me though, because I'm kind of braggy because I have Mars in Leo. But if I brag, people won't hear me, and my intention is to be heard. Okay? If I brag, people won't hear me, and my intention is to be heard. It is very important now that you begin to focus on yourself, that you begin to prioritize yourself over what you're seeing in the world. And you're a Sagittarius. If you got Mars in Leo and you're a Sagittarius, Lord have mercy, because all that's fire. To prioritize yourself over what you are seeing in the world. Like, you know, I am in Los Angeles, and I'm looking at videos of people's houses burning down, but my sky is clear. We're in the same realm, but my sky has stars in it. Yesterday, I went to the spa, and my sky had the moon in it during the day, okay? So my reality is not everybody else's reality. And what happens is, when people are in terror and panic, it's easy to get pulled into that, because that has a kinetic that'll pull you out of your peace. So you have got to be deeply rooted in your experience, and what is true for you. Because the age of Aquarius means that we're not all experiencing the same thing. We're all experiencing something different. That's always been the case, but we had this illusion in the West of this sort of sameness. It was like, tall and light skin is beautiful. This much money is rich. This kind of education and title is good. And we all kind of agreed to these sort of ideas that were invisible ideas. And because we were in this collective agreement, everyone was aspiring to the thing, even internally without knowing it. I'm going to go to school and get a degree. I'm going to go make money. I'm going to get married. We're all in this aspiration towards the idea that is the collective agreement. But that collective agreement is now dissolving. So the idea is your own channel, who you are. We're not in the same reality. It might look like we are. We might be standing next to the same building. We might be eating the same food, but we are not in the same reality, which is why lightning can come and strike one person, and the next person just be standing there like, what happened? Because we're not in the same reality. Where's your books? I don't know. It's been really challenging for me to sit down and focus and actually write. It's easier for me to talk. So books are coming, but, when it's time. So yeah, we're all in a different reality, and your reality is your address, right? And like your house has an address, your natal chart is your address to consciousness. Your natal chart is how the mailman, God, identifies you and brings you your everything. Your natal chart is your address in the mind of God. It reads the symbols. The symbols of your natal chart have only existed for you. You are the only person who has ever had that address and who will ever have it. Why? Because you are the only one that came out of your mother's womb at the time that it did. Your mother is the portal that brought you from the invisible to the seen. Okay. Thank you, conscious creationist. So your natal chart is your address. All right, so that's really all I got today, you guys. We're going to start the North Node class on Sunday. If you don't have, oh gosh, I got a list. We're gonna get things as we go. I don't know, but it'll all work out. Let's just say it that way. It'll all work out. Today is Venus Day. If the work that I have done, I know I haven't been here this week, but it's still Venus Day. If you want to give to me, if you want to contribute in any way to my to what I offer, I would love that. And you can do that by just saying thank you, or you can send a Cash App at $ Monique Ruffin or at @Monique-Ruffin at Venmo. Alrighty, I will see you all on Sunday where we begin the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo. Y'all, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I am really, really, really excited for this experience because Virgo is all about healing and transformation, and Pisces is all about the magic. We're literally going to clean up our consciousnesses in the next 18 months so we can activate the magic for real. All right, y'all. Bye.